led you to RWTH Aachen?
Yeah, so I have studied biomedical engineering at the University of Naples. Then I moved to RWTH Aachen and Jülich, the Forschungszentrum, for my PhD. Did my postdoc in the US, Stanford University in chemistry. And then I moved back to Italy, to the Istituto Italiano di Tecnologia. It's like a national lab where I founded a lab called Tissue Electronics, where I was something like an assistant professor. And then I moved back to Aachen in 2022 as a professor here at the Faculty of Electrical Engineering. And then we started this research area in neuroelectronic interfaces.
So describe us your journey until here.
Yeah, so I studied bachelor and master in Naples, in chemistry, though, not engineering. Then I also did my PhD in Naples at the same university and in collaboration with our research center that is called ENEA. After that, I did a postdoc in Naples still at IIT, where I actually met Francesca later on. Then I was for a period a technician there with Francesca actually, and then I joined her here in Aachen in 2022 as well. Order. Yes, that things are done or in order. Like streets are in order. You can walk in an order way. You can drive in an order and nice way. So the structure of Germans, I would say, is the thing that I like the most. And it's the quietness. I mean, we come from Italy, which is quite different, but I appreciate this side of Germans.
What I like of German culture in general, besides order, especially on the driving side, that's definitely a good point. I think in general, like I like the fairness of the people, like at any level, both at work, but also in a private environment. So people are very transparent, very open in a way. So that feels like a pretty nice environment to be in.
Family? That really depends. Because in Naples specifically, the sun can be too much in summer, so it can be very too hot and impossible to live. So maybe on that side here can be better, although it's not as warm as I would love here. But yeah.
Family, definitely. Number one, food, number two. But we are also master of packing food in small volumes and big loads when we go back, and friends as well. So that's the top three. Maybe food is the third one, I would say. But yeah, nothing that cannot be.
I will also add friends actually.
I can start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I mean, there have been a number of reasons why I decided to join RWTH. Well, to join again RWTH because I was a student already here. So I knew a bit the environment and I really liked it. And I mean, what I like in particular, we were exposed to the RWTH environment, ecosystem, as well as the one in the Forschungszentrum in Jülich. So it's, I mean, our network is really diverse, dynamic, intense, even to some extent. So we really can develop a number of research topics which have Aachen to be a unique place, so Jülich and Aachen to be a unique place or spotlight to be in.
I like many things here. So order, that's actually, it applies here as well. Order, but also flexibility, meaning that we are free to do many things in an ordered way, so in a structured way, but still we are allowed, or we have opportunities to really explore our ideas here. And that's what I like, some degree of freedom that really allows you to do what you like, that's what I would say. And in a safe and ordered, again, environment. Unfortunately, not that much.
Unfortunately, not at all anymore. Not at all. No, so I mean, as a, let's say, group leader, principal investigator, professor, you name it, different sides of the same person, that for me doesn't apply any longer. So I used to be an experimentalist. It sounds bad. I'm still an experimentalist, but practical work in the lab is something that I don't do actively anymore, but I mainly supervise students and researchers to do work in the lab. I mean, sometimes I do miss it. That's why I try sometimes every year, every couple of years, to visit other labs, also to have some hands-on experience, I get some fresh new ideas. But I also enjoy very much to see how different things in the lab are developed by other people. So I also enjoy that part very much.
Coffee, first of all. So my routine, actually still now, is as soon as I arrive, I need to take my first coffee, and then we can talk. That's the first thing.
Later on.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like in my case, it's been quite a wide journey, because I started from chemistry, organic chemistry synthesis, not a niche topic, but a very specific one. And then I changed it completely to electronic devices for the skin, like similar to this, but in a different way. So it was completely out of my studies, let's say. And now I'm into neurotechnologies. So if you want to know how to choose, just do what you like, where your heart beats the most. But then things can change during life. Maybe you get interested in something new, something different from your original path, and that's okay. It also depends on the opportunities that you get. Like I got different opportunities and I thought, wow, that's interesting. I want to dive into that, changing completely my topic and my career, let's say. So don't be scared, that's what I would say. Because life can give you many new opportunities that you cannot foresee before. Just enjoy what you do, that's my biggest advice.
That's a beautiful advice, thank you. Can I maybe follow up on by asking, were there any big challenges doing that?
Yeah, of course.
Like?
For example, I studied chemistry, as I said, not much physics or engineering, electronics, and then I moved towards electronic skin devices. So I knew nothing about it. So the challenge was to learn something that was not in my core studies, but I love the challenge, so I love to learn something new. And maybe also my studying attitude and my rigor in studying helped me in achieving that. But yeah, studying something completely new that I knew nothing about was a challenge, but I got a lot of help. So I got very good friends, also professors that helped me along the way, so it was fun after all.
Yeah, and Professor Santoro?
Yeah, well, so in my case, I started with like this idea, or let's say I was very much curious and interested in artificial organs, prosthetics. That's why I picked biomedical engineering from the beginning of the studies. So I was like, I'm gonna do the next generation low cost prosthetic devices for like underdeveloped countries. That was like the 18 years old big dream. Which to some extent we are still working on in a way. And along, let's say, the path, and when I started to do my bachelor and my master thesis, I went more through the bioelectronics route. I mean, it happened a bit, it happened in a way that because of the professors that I met back then, that they brought me on the topic. What I really liked in the very beginning, and that's also why this is something you can then keep doing for a long time, is that it's really interdisciplinary field. So you can really focus on different aspects in the field, more on the engineering part, on the biological part, the chemistry, the physics, the medicine question you want to answer. So it's really something that never gets you bored, because there is always the other side of the coin that you want to figure out. And that was also a bit what then brought me in a fairly linear path till now, in exploring then in each step of the career a different parts. I'm going more into the chemistry, more into the biology, now a bit of everything. So I guess that's a very good driving force. And I mean, of course, that's the curiosity then to understand always the different aspect of the topic.
Affects communication.
Well, these are affected very much. I think, I mean, both of us explored the system that you mentioned, the Italian, the US system. I mean, Valeria also spent some time in the US, the German system. I guess there is one point is that one should really focus on the positive aspect in the system you're in so that you can learn from it, right? But also at the same time being as objective as possible to understand where also your the topic you work on, the personality, the cultural, from the academic point of view, could be a best fit. And that's also why now we privilege the opportunity to be in Germany, right? So I guess it was good to see bits of everything and then develop your own style in a way. So I guess that's the best thing that one could do, especially when you experience so different styles. If we think of the European versus the American style, the Silicon Valley style, for instance. That is one point. And I think one other aspect is that we try to bring this very diverse perspective in how then we are with students and researchers in the lab. So also trying to bring up the multicultural aspect, also in a way trying to make people more sensible on the fact that different cultures and different approaches are opportunities and not fallbacks. So I guess that's the most important thing. It comes from different perspective. So one is identify topics where we can contribute in a meaningful way with an impact, meaning that we look for important, relevant, open scientific questions in the field we are in, and we see how we can align with our background and also with our already built knowledge, right? So that gives a bit of a solid foundation. On the other hand, it comes more on a practical perspective. What are the resources that are required, right, to achieve, to work on a specific scientific question? Which type of background is needed? Can we have, is it too of a far-fetch? Or also, what is the timeline? Can we then make some substantial progresses on the short term, on the long term? So we try to first to have a large picture of the area we want to contribute on with the whole group, and then we try to tackle into the specific sub-goals then to be effective on the projects.
Oh,
but by accident,
yeah,
by accident, yeah. So, well, I can start. What was the first idea we had, and then I mean Valeria can follow up on how were actually then the materials at the moment. So in the beginning, we had this hypothesis, even before we moved to Germany, that we want to make some conductive materials, so some electronics also to be moving, like reshaping, sort of octopus-like idea. And so we then looked at the materials that we had and we said, okay, let's put together something that by light can move with the conductive materials. And it didn't work. However, then the chemistry that happened while we were doing this brought us to a very interesting path, and that's where then we arrived where we are now.
Yeah, like back then the electronic part of this type of device and construct was very interesting. So it got neuromorphic behavior, so memory behavior, so it was really behaving like a fake neuron, let's say, and it was cool. But then we thought, okay, can we do more also from the chemistry side, not just the electrical? So we proved that the electrical part is interesting, the device is interesting itself. Can we do more chemically to that? So that's why we started to modify this famous azobenzene, that is the light-sensitive part. With some very simple chemical modifications, we saw quite interesting things. So again, that's also, I guess, my point in life to that chemistry school. So electrical stuff are very interesting, but with chemistry you can really tune the properties of the material and then the device that you have. And it was, I think, the nicest thing from
It didn't move,
Yes.
but
Voilà.
it was still interesting.
Excuse me.
Yeah, so what we have achieved with, especially with this project and the publication you mentioned, specifically are optoelectronic memory devices in a way. So they can. This means that they can be used for different things. That's also why they are fairly interesting. So they exploit completely biocompatible materials, so they can be used for being coupled with biological systems, cells, tissues. I mean, even in turn to be implanted in the body. On the other hand, they're still memory devices. So as they are, they could also be integrated or further integrated into more sophisticated artificial network-based devices. For instance, for neuromorphic application, computing, vision in a way. So they can really be, depending on the type of electronic device architectures they're integrated in, they can we can exploit different functions one way or the other. So purely electrical engineering, but even for biointerfacing.
This research, would that be?
So azobenzene technically is not that new. It's a widely studied material for its reshaping properties. So when you shine light on this material, it moves. It really reshapes. That's also what we tried to do at the beginning, but it didn't work. But the interesting thing of this class of material is that, again, you can change its molecular structure also with simple chemistry. It's not that futuristic, but it gives you a high tunability of the material itself and then the characteristics of the device. So I think the powerful part of this class of compounds is the tunability. So you can endow whatever function you desire. Because its chemistry is easy enough and it's interesting enough to really allow you for whatever application potential. In principle you can change the molecule itself to react to different lights. And especially an interesting thing would be to move towards a visible light. Because so far we worked on UV, which is the light that we don't really see and it can be harmful. But we can modify them into visible light, and that would go into, for example, retina implant applications, for instance, to restore vision, not just in a sense of grayscale, so black and white vision, but also to able to see colors. That would be the dream.
Yeah. And this was actually the hypothesis we started from when we included this idea as part of a larger project, which at RWTH was actually funded by the Exploratory Research Space, so the ERS. And so this is the fundamental part that then can be transferred step by step, even in collaboration with clinicians that we have, for instance, at Uniclinic, as part of the larger project, to use this one important point that we haven't mentioned, organic materials, to be integrated into retina implants. So they are bio-inspired because they act as retinal cells would do in a way, responding to different type of light-based stimuli, but they can, as they are also structured, being processed such that can be integrated into an implant possibly.
You're looking on would affect this energy crisis?
But this is actually a very key point for the material choice that we have, because as we mentioned, we work with organic semiconductors. So when those materials are integrated into neuromorphic devices, they actually cut down quite a lot on the energy consumption. So, there is quite a trade-off one has to consider. So you might not reach with polymer electronics the same computing performances that you have with conventional electronics. but on the other hand, you can gain in the fact that they are biocompatible and they exploit much lower energy consumption that is generated through these systems.
Part of our brain.
That's the dream, let's say, but also the direction, let's say, that we are following right now. Exactly that.
So we are going to see follow-up research on
yeah.
this direction.
Yeah.
The direction is that.
Yeah.
When and if it will be achieved, we cannot say right now, but at least this is the idea, yes.
But one important point is that we have validated already a number of conditions where we can establish a communication between living neurons with artificial neurons. And so actually in our lab, one of the very first biohybrid synapses in this framework was developed a couple of years ago. So where, I mean, it's still a single synapse. So if we consider the high number of synapses we have in our brain, we are definitely far from that. But at least we know how we can exploit the language that the living neurons speak and the one that the artificial ones speak, so that we can bridge them together through light, through electricity, to molecules. So we have a little bit, as Valeria likes to call it, the toolbox, especially exploiting material chemistry and design to establish different way living, artificial and living neurons can speak to each other.
Maybe not enhancing, but restoring what is lost. That's, I think, our main goal. Enhancing can be scary, maybe.
Yeah.
But treating and giving back vision to people, or also the neurodegenerative diseases, like treating them is the real goal, more than enhancing. Because the human body is already pretty impressive, I would say, we don't need enhancements.
That's one key point that we like to stress as often as we can, that our technology mainly aims, and our research mainly aims on pathological condition for health, and not necessarily for potentiating other body functions.
Team change your approach to device design?
I mean, completely. That's a big, huge, enormous plus to have a chemist on the team. I mean, it's also unique. A lot of research groups in our field do focus on one of the aspects that we have discussed about. So I guess in our case, it's very nice that we can really streamline like the material design directly to the application. So that's, I mean, sometimes we even probably just have number of proof of concept which can be further exploited, but to have all of this expertise in one group, I guess that makes our group really unique. Also considering that we can also directly test that for biological application, for computing application. So it's nice that we can really exploit the possibilities of a new material that is designed, and to see what is the best fit for the material. So, and then go back to the design. So then we see what happens, and we say, okay, we need to change this, and that's all in the same group. So, but as I said, we mainly do proof of concept, meaning that then if we need to go deeper into one specific aspect, we do then use a lot of our networks and collaborations to then dig more into specific properties or other things.
And Martina Gini, who could not join us today, influenced the work in the Institute and especially the research on azobenzene.
Oh yes, of course. Their dedication to the project, and also their passion towards the topic itself was really important to get the work done. Not just for hands on the work, but also understanding the topic to start with, and also how to implement it, what to do more with the materials that we had already. And I'm also proud to say that they also looked at the chemistry behind it. So they also thought, can we improve the fabrication of the device itself? Can we change something chemically to make it better, to make it more reliable, scalable, whatever? So they didn't just look at the work itself, but they really studied how to make it better.
I mean, that is also a very good example, because if we consider that I'm a biomedical engineer, Valeria is a chemist, Isabella is an electrical engineer, Martina is a bionic engineer, and Francesca is a nanotechnologist with a background in tissue engineering. I mean, these are 5 very different, different profiles which have looked at the scientific question, as we were saying before, with a very different perspective, and that's also why I personally think that gave also different impact to the results that we had.
If you would like to have more words about your colleagues, we will change the subject and section completely. If you would like that, we can continue. But
yeah,
oh, they're amazing.
Definitely, it's. I mean, they're amazing. Martina and Isabella are 2 PhD students, and Francesca is a postdoc in the lab. So all of them joined the lab a couple of years ago. So they've been deep dive in the project very nicely. And as I said, the diversity of the background is very unique. But also, what I really appreciated in this project, in this work, was how cohesive the team worked. So I really think this could be one of the best examples that we had in the last years, where we can tell that the team made a difference and made it happen. So because of different constraints that happened during the project, for different reasons, scientific, personal reasons, everyone was always backing up each other, and I guess that is probably even more impactful than the research itself.
Do you have any movie or book that inspired your research? Do you have anything in your mind?
No science fiction.
I have one, but actually not a movie, but a series that I loved. It was called The 100. I don't know if you watched
I've read about it, yes.
That I actually watched, I think, before joining the group. And in this TV show, they actually make a device that can be implanted in the brain and would kind of download the behavior, the memory of the person, and it was passed along to the head of the group, let's say the chief of the group, and it was so cool. And then I think I joined you afterwards, and I was like, oh, that's the show that I watched, that's cool, so maybe we can do that. So that's one of my favorite. I really recommend that show, it's amazing.
I think that maybe someday these innovations will bring the downfall of humanity.
And that's a fun one.
It's fun for us.
Okay. Everything can bring to the downfall of humanity in
More
hands.
than we have already. No, definitely. That's a good point. And I guess that's, this is a question that I would say we have often, especially, I don't know, when we talk to, we often go to talk to high school students or with friends and family, that's like, what do you think about artificial intelligence? That's like one of the most asked questions. And I think it's also important from our side, since we know that this technology can be powerful and we don't need to be too futuristic if we see already in the last 2 years how artificial